The Amazon night was a living thing. Strange calls echoed through thick, wet leaves. In a small clearing, a temporary camp glowed. Torches flickered, casting dancing shadows. Here, away from their grand city, were two young royals, Prince Kin and Princess Ixchel. They were far from home. The jungle watched them with ancient eyes.
Still drawing, Ixchel? There is a whole world out there.
Some worlds are found within, brother.
Prince Kin stood near the edge of the firelight. His eyes gazed into the deep, dark jungle. He craved something more, a true test, a real adventure. He clenched his fists, imagining battles and discoveries. The silent trees seemed to challenge him. Princess Ixchel sat quietly. She sketched patterns on a piece of bark, but her eyes held a distant sorrow. She often felt like a shadow. She wished she could be as bold as Kin. A journey was beginning. It would change everything. Prince Kin felt a growing discontent. His royal training seemed like a game. Hunting practice in the palace gardens was not real. He yearned for the sting of true danger. He wanted his skills to mean something, to protect his people, to prove his worth, not just to his father, the king, but to himself. This quiet camp felt like another cage. He felt his youth slipping away into waiting. Princess Ixchel struggled with her own reflection, not just in water, but in people's eyes. She was told she was thoughtful and kind, but she saw only her flaws. Her quiet nature felt like weakness, her love for art, a mere distraction. She compared herself to the brave warriors and to the confident priestesses. She felt she fell short of every ideal. She wished she could accept herself, but the mirror of her mind showed only imperfections. One afternoon, Cain practiced with his blowgun. He aimed at a distant fruit. His dart missed widely. He cursed under his breath. Frustration etched his young face. Ixchel nearby quickly hid a drawing. These small moments revealed their inner battles. As dusk painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, a figure emerged. He came silently from the deep forest. An old shaman, his skin like wrinkled bark. Feathers and beads adorned his sparse white hair. His eyes were like polished obsidian. They seemed to hold the wisdom of centuries. He carried a staff carved with strange symbols. The air around him hummed with an ancient power. He was a guardian of the old ways. The shaman approached the royal siblings. He did not bow. He looked deep into their souls.
The spirits of the forest have spoken. An imbalance grows in the land. Darkness creeps from forgotten corners.
He spoke of a prophecy, a time when courage and truth must be rekindled by those of noble heart, but not yet proven spirit. He looked at Kin, then at Ixchel.
To restore harmony, you must seek two sacred relics. The wings of the jaguar, hidden where courage is tested. They will grant you true bravery, and the mirror of Quetzal, found where truth reflects itself. It will show you your true worth.
At dawn, Kin and Ixchel left their camp. They carried few supplies. The shaman had given them a single instruction.
Follow the whispers of your heart.
The jungle path was narrow. Giant trees loomed like ancient sentinels. Their leaves formed a dense green canopy. Sunlight struggled to pierce through. The forest felt different now. It was no longer just trees and shadows. It was alive. It was watching them. The air itself seemed to hum with magic. Strange melodious bird calls echoed around them. Flowers glowed with an unnatural luminescence. Shadows danced in the corners of their eyes. Sometimes, the patterns on tree bark seemed to shift. They formed faces or ancient symbols. They saw hints of Aztec architecture. Carved stones peeked from beneath moss, as if an old city slept beneath the forest floor. It was beautiful, yet unsettling. Suddenly, a stream of iridescent butterflies appeared. They fluttered around the siblings. Their wings shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow. The butterflies seemed to guide them, leading them deeper into the forest's heart. Kin, usually so eager to rush, found himself slowing down.
After many hours, they reached a sun-dappled clearing. In its center stood a magnificent structure, a temple made of shimmering gold and jade. It glowed with an inviting light. Music, soft and alluring, drifted from its open doors. It seemed to promise rest, comfort, and fulfillment.
Look, Ixchel, perhaps this is a reward from the gods.
Kin exclaimed, feeling drawn to its splendor. It spoke to his desire for greatness. As they approached, visions began to shimmer in the air. Kin saw himself as a great king, adored by his people, victorious in every battle. He saw endless power and glory. Ixchel saw a different vision. She saw herself perfectly beautiful, praised for her grace and wisdom. Loved and accepted by everyone without a single doubt, these visions were potent. They offered everything their hearts secretly yearned for. The temple seemed to understand their deepest wishes. But as Keen reached out to touch a golden pillar, it rippled like water. Ishel noticed the music was slightly off-key. The beautiful flowers adorning the temple had no scent. A sense of unease crept in.
Kin, wait, something is not right.
The visions intensified, trying to hold their gaze, but the initial allure began to fade. Leaving the decaying illusion behind, they journeyed onward. The forest grew denser, the path less clear. Soon they heard the sound of rushing water. Before them lay a wide, swirling stream. Its waters were not clear. They were murky, like liquid smoke. Strange reflections danced on its surface, and from the water came soft, insidious whispers.
"You are not strong enough," it murmured to Kin. "You will always be a disappointment," it hissed at Ixchel.
Keen felt his newfound confidence waver. The stream showed him images of failure, him letting down his family, his people. The whispers preyed on his deepest fear, the fear of not being good enough. He hesitated at the water's edge. The current looked strong and treacherous. For the first time, he doubted his ability to lead, to succeed in this quest. This obstacle felt more daunting than any physical enemy. Ishel, too, felt the stream's cruel magic. It reflected her own face back at her, twisted by doubt and insecurity.
"No one truly sees you," it whispered. "You are invisible. You are worthless."
Kin, Ixchel said, her voice trembling but firm. "We must face this, together."
They emerged from the stream, drenched but resolute. The whispers faded behind them. They found a small feathered serpent charm on the bank, a clue to the mirror of Quetzal. Pressing on, the path led them to the mouth of a dark cave. An unnatural chill emanated from within. Hesitantly they entered. Torches cast flickering light on damp walls. In the center of a cavern, a figure shimmered into existence. It was pale and spectral, the ghost of the future. The ghost did not speak with words. It showed them visions. Keen saw a future born of his recklessness, kingdoms in ruin, his people suffering, all because of his impulsive decisions, his quest for glory leading to devastation. This was his deepest fear, that his ambition would cause harm, not good. He saw himself old and alone, a failed king haunted by his mistakes. The vision felt chillingly real. Then the ghost turned its ethereal gaze to Ixchel. It showed her a future of isolation. Her self-doubt had become a wall, separating her from everyone she loved. She saw herself as a lonely figure, never believing in her own worth, never sharing her true self, her art, her insights, all kept hidden. When they stepped out of the cave, the world seemed transformed. The oppressive atmosphere of the deeper jungle had lifted. Sunlight, warm and golden, filtered through the leaves. They felt lighter. The wings of the jaguar were not physical wings. They were the courage Khan now felt, a steady, thoughtful courage. The mirror of Quetzal was not a glass, it was Ixchel's newfound clarity, her ability to see her true self without distortion. Their demeanor had changed profoundly. Kin no longer rushed ahead with impulsive energy. He walked with a measured pace. His eyes, once restless, were now observant and calm. Ixchel walked taller. Her shoulders were no longer slumped. A quiet confidence radiated from her. She met Keen's gaze with a small, genuine smile. They had been tested, and they had not broken. They had grown. They were finding their true strength. The path before them was clearer now, as if the forest itself approved of their transformation. Ancient Aztec carvings on trees and stones seemed to glow faintly. They pointed the way forward. Through the trees, they caught glimpses of a distant golden light. It pulsed gently like a heartbeat. The castle of Tanatia, it was no longer just a legend from the shaman's tale, it was a destination. Finally, they arrived. The castle of Tanatia was not what they expected. It was not a fortress of stone and gold like in the stories. Instead, it was a place of breathtaking natural beauty, a sacred grove bathed in a warm, radiant light. Waterfalls cascaded down mossy cliffs. Flowers of impossible colors bloomed everywhere. The air itself hummed with a gentle, life-giving energy. It felt like the heart of the sun, manifested on earth. It was a place of pure peace. They stepped into the central clearing. There was no throne, no king, no treasure chests overflowing with jewels. Instead, They found a tranquil pool. Its surface was like polished obsidian, but it reflected not just their images, it reflected their inner light, their true essence. Cain looked into it and saw not a restless boy, but a young man capable of great wisdom and compassion. He understood. True leadership was not about power, it was about service. Ishel gazed into the pool. She saw not a shy, uncertain girl, but a woman of quiet strength and profound insight. Her sensitivity was not a weakness, it was a gift. Her art was a way to share the beauty she saw in the world and within herself.